I've been making little notes to myself while doing the job of replacing the head gasket on the Jeep 98 Cherokee right here. Had I known this job was going to be as easy, relatively speaking, as it is, I would have made a proper video, but I thought I'd be up to my elbows in alligators, as they say, but man, this is really not bad. If you're on the fence, go for it. Just a few things that snags I ran into. Like I say, I made a couple of video notes and decided to kind of post this up. So come and check it out. Show you some of the footage I put in. I'm warning, it's rough. It's just so I won't forget. I recorded a few things. So check it out. Hopefully it'll be a help to somebody. Did I tell you this is going to be one of them rough cut videos, the ones that gets thousands of hits, all kinds of camera shake, and I mean, it's like it'd make you seasick if you drink too much beer watching some of these videos, and these guys are killing it. And then you put up something decent quality and you get like 3 or 4 views. Kind of funny. Anyway, there you go. Disconnect the plug here. Hey, is it broken? I'll have to fix that plug or change it out. Next, you lift up the rail here. Just pull straight up. I pried it with a screwdriver. The throttle linkage assembly takes a 10mm. Unthread the bolt there. Not there. Let's see. It's there. Oh, one right here. And the third one is back here. Let me show you. Right here. Okay. We're going to get this bracket out of the way. This is what it looks like. You have one, a middle, top. So 1, 2, 3. This one's for the cruise control, I think. So we'll need to disconnect here and here and move this assembly out of the way. Disconnect it from these channels. .7/16 deep socket to get all of the bolts off of the valve cover. Wanted to make sure that I didn't forget about this either. This is for the heater hoses. Goes right here to the left hand side of the filler cap. See that right there? Then you just lift off of the bolt. Try not to break it. Got one back here too to hold the wiring harness out of the way. Here's a tray right here for the spark plug wires. It's not in use, but I want to make sure I put that back in place too. We better take a good look here for the valve cover mounting. So I get this last bolt out. Okay, this is the bolt right here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 of these are the same bolt. Then we go to the one that has the stud on top, just next to the oil filler cap. Then we have another one with a stud. back there. Then we have another regular bolt. And then in the far back was a regular bolt. And we have a stud and another stud. Then kind of a short stud and a longer stud and a short stud. I should be able to remember this, but just in case, I labeled 1 through 6 for the fuel injection. Disconnected all of those along the fuel rail. And then this wiring harness goes under the fuel rail and supplies 1, 2, 3 connections. And the fourth one back there. And this one, that one was from right here. Boy, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it goes underneath the fuel rail right here. And this one was down here. This was down here. Good. And bolted right there. Right there. Here's a shot of the box that I made for the rocker arm assemblies and the push rods. You want to keep these in the same order that you remove them from the engine. I just used 2 cardboard boxes that I purchased at Walmart and taped them together, marked 1st through 6. They need to go back in the exact same position, same place that they came from. You'll need a 1/2 inch socket to remove the 2 bolts that hold the rocker arm assembly onto the head. You'll use your 1/2 inch socket with your ratchet and unthread both of the bolts. And what I did is I just unthreaded them till both sides were loose, and then the entire assembly comes out off of the head as a whole. Then I just set them in place on my cardboard box, and each push rod I took out of the head and also put those into the cardboard box. That ground wire is nutted on top of that stud. Don't forget, this goes to this with the nut on top. That's that back stud everybody complains about. There's all kinds of room. Once you unbolt the intake manifold and unbolt the exhaust manifold, there's plenty of room to just move it over. Didn't have to unbolt anything else. There's enough movement in the exhaust system to just slide it over. Plenty of room to get the exhaust manifold gasket out. Next step will be taking the thermostat housing off, pull the spark plugs, have them marked. I did mark the fuel injector plugs. Gonna mark the spark plug wires, pull the plugs. Let me show you the first mistake I made, and fortunately I'm down about 15 bucks. I bought 2 14mm sockets that actually do fit on the head bolts, but this is a 6-point. It slips. It fits nice, but it slips. Let me show you. The 14mm, even though it's labeled upside down, does go on the head bolt, but as soon as I tried to turn it, it slipped. It slipped immediately. This is a 6.14 millimeter. No go. Mechanic at where I work said, hey man, you need a 1/2 inch. You need a 12-point 1/2 inch. This is the 1/2 inch, 12-point, 1/2 inch drive socket. It's a 1/2 inch drive, 1/2 inch socket, 12-point. You're going to need your 1/2 inch socket. You're going to need a 1/2 inch ratchet. You're going to need a cheater bar. This is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, 24-inch length, square stock steel. I've used this for a long time. Works great. These are on good. They sure are. So you will need a cheater bar to break them loose. Let me see if I can get you a little shot right there. That's what I use. Just be careful you don't hit the vehicle. Alright, you take your deep socket on either head bolt, the one that needs a deep socket or the one that's a shallow one. And keep in mind you want to do these in the correct torque pattern even when you're releasing the tension. They're a little hard to get on sometimes, so take your time, get on there good and square. Let me line this up. We're going to turn it to the left to unloosen it. This is just a demonstration. I know it's already freed up. Anyway, you slide your cheater bar on and then just push forward, turning the fastener counterclockwise to break it loose, and you'll hear it. That's it. Harbor Freight Tools. This is the fuel line and AC quick disconnect tool. Works great. $6 at a 30% off coupon today. Beautiful. But you will need that to disconnect the fuel supply line in order to get the intake manifold out. I didn't think I was going to do that, but I ended up fairly simple. 5 connections plus the fuel rail injector plugs, labeled those, no problem. And let me show you under the hood. I totally lucked out. Down in the bowels of the toolbox, I have a 12-point 1/2 inch made in China cheap wrench. Worked out good. I read earlier today a guy scoured the pawn shops looking for little oddball tools. Might be a good idea. The problem bolt, head bolt. Guess these guys aren't really exaggerating. Okay, got it on there. Let's get in there with the cheater bar. Try to choke it down as much as we can. Come on, baby, come on. Oh, no. Yeah. Alright, that wrench has had it. Okay, we're going to try a matte 1/2 inch. Maybe a little better quality. It's putting a lot of stress on these smaller wrenches, obviously. Alright, I'm on there good. Oh, yes, sir. How about that? Good. Doing it without damaging the wrench. Man, this one is challenging. That's what I get for being a smart aleck. I'll show you guys how I'm going to install this. I've got it figured out already. This is like a shelf in here, and I figured, hey, you could just drill a hole behind that wiring harness. Of course, move everything out of the way, but Man, that's part of the body. You'd be cutting into the interior. Maybe some venting back there. You can't really cut that. If it were just a shelf to support the wiring harness be one thing, but no, man, it goes into the cab. What they said to do is to tape it in position, give you a little bit of clearance, of course, so you can pull the head back. Once you get your black tape started, get you a little pile of it going here, just enough that the head bolt won't go back into the hole. Drop it down. We've got enough clearance over the firewall. I'd say that's good to go. Yeah. I warned you guys, it'll be some beautiful camera work here. Probably get about 20,000 views, I'm hoping. This was very helpful. I was thinking earlier today, I got to pull the spark plugs out of the head. I want to take the head down to the machine shop with the spark plug still in it. Look like a complete moron. What size socket do I need? So instead of using the 3 or 4 common choices and fiddling around with it, hey man, I'll just get the new spark plug that I bought for the vehicle. Try it out. And it fits. It's a 5/8 or 16 millimeter. Here's another little pointer. Grab you a water bottle, put your little pieces of tape on there so that you're when you're marking your spark plug wires, you're not fiddling around with a roll of tape. Just get it all ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is 1 through 6, or the front of the motor on back. Alrighty, the next thing you need to remove the 2 bolts for the air conditioner bracket, and that, believe it or not, is a 14 millimeter. A 14. Got the 14 millimeter on there. Let's put the cheater bar on. There we go. That's it. To see if I could get this to move. I thought, man, I can't get it to budge. This guy said it'd be on there really tight. Remember I mentioned the moron part? Oh my gosh, the bolts are still in there, the head bolts. I slackened them all, but I forgot to pull them out. Maybe that'll help. See, I got all of them still in there. That's what they say, the mind goes first. Let's get those out and see what happens. Yeah, bear in mind, you do get tired working on this stuff. Not just physically tired, but mentally. I'm not in any hurry at all. Nor should you be. That's right. Advice. Advice from old Brian. That's the bolt they said that you have to put the sealant on, because that goes into a water jacket. So you don't want the antifreeze leaking out of that hole from the head bolt. So be sure to put a sealant on it. The Teflon tape, I think, is the recommended way to go, but you can definitely see that this one had it on there. Took the thermostat housing off. Get a drift. Oh, easy, easy. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yep. She's free. Oh, that's heavy, all right. That's doable. channel. Oh boy. There we go. We got it. You can do it. Yep. You can do it. It can be done. One guy. I did it. I didn't break anything. Whew. It's heavy, but it's doable. One guy can do this. I don't see anywhere real obvious where it got in. Looks like I got a little junk in there too. Yeah, we'll clean that up. No big deal. No problem. I'll get this all cleaned up. Not bad. Not bad for my first time. Here's the other side of the head. So this is the front where the thermostat housing goes, or the thermostat, the housing. So that's your front cylinder. Doesn't really tell me much at all. Little antifreeze here. That could have been in the head already. One of the mechanics at work suggested fogging the cylinder walls or pistons with WD-40 to keep the rust from starting to develop. So we'll take a look. It's just been a few days since I pulled that head off, and yeah, definitely there's a little rust starting. Rust is your enemy. While doing this job, you want to make sure that you fog the cylinder walls and piston tops with the WD-40. The can's right over there. Let me go get it. WD-40. The rust can cause ring damage or breakage to the rings if you put the motor in use and you've got rust on the cylinder walls. As the piston goes up, the rings scrape against that and could possibly damage the rings, score the cylinder walls. That's another big possibility. If the rust is bad enough, it could cause the engine to seize, where the motor would lock up, and even at a bare minimum, it would cause pitting on the cylinder walls, which would probably lead to the engine smoking because the oil would get past the rings. Well, there you go. All right, thanks again for watching. Oh, heck yeah.